In the headlines, fish were plentiful in the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex today. The by-election rhetoric ratchets up with the election just over a day away. A number of contract workers registered as new business owners. And in sports, Coach Sammy admits Chase was not a clear-cut choice for Windy's Test captain.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Tisha Hines with the details to the news. We begin Newsnight on the campaign trail with the Prime Minister raising a serious situation that occurred in court that has left her deeply disturbed. Why was the case against 7 young men charged in connection with a bloody shooting incident dropped? That's what Prime Minister Mia Amor-Mottley wants to know. She was referring to the case about an incident that happened on then Spring Garden Highway on Kadooment Day, August 7, 2017. The Prime Minister is calling on the Director of Public Prosecution, Alison Steele, to provide answers as to why the decision was taken to discontinue the case. She raised concerns about the matter while addressing a Barbados Labour Party public meeting at Weston St. James.
Those people who had their cases dropped, 6 or 7 of them, I don't know the facts, related to the same incident on Spring Garden. I don't know the facts. But what I do know is that a country deserves an explanation. And to explain to the people why you would have now to drop the case against those 6 or 7 young men as they were. And I pray that the DPP will understand his duty to the people who he serves in that constitutional post. But I go further. I understand what you are feeling. And I understand that there are some who are so riled up that they may want vengeance. But vengeance does not solve anything, my friends.
The men were charged with discharging a firearm in a public place, placing 18 people in danger of death or serious bodily harm. During the court appearance, acting DPP Seal, senior counsel, said the state was discontinuing the case against the men. PM Mottley made it clear she is not happy about that development.
And I understand the difference between my position constitutionally and other constitutional posts in this country. But I feel strongly that while I have no power whatsoever to direct the Auditor General, the Director of Public Prosecutions, any judge, that I have a duty to comment when I see things that are wrong.
Now, the Prime Minister delivered that message as BLP parliamentarians and hundreds of supporters gathered at Weston for the party's latest political meeting in support of candidate for the St. James North constituency, Chad Blackman. Those gathered also heard that the BLP continues its stellar performance in boosting the island's bread and butter industry. Minister of Tourism and International Transport Ian Gooding-Edgell says at the end of 2024, government recorded 3 years of unprecedented growth in the tourism sector. He shared some of the facts, and hundreds who attended the Barbados Labour Party spot meeting at Weston for the party's candidate in Wednesday's St. James North by-election, Chad Blackman.
And I say to you that in 2024, that our long-stay arrivals grew by almost 11%, 10.7%. That meant that 67,800 more visitors came to Barbados. And why am I saying this? Because when we get more visitors coming to Barbados, that means that there are more people staying in hotels and other vacation rentals like Airbnb, etc. And what does that mean for you? For the hotel worker, it means more jobs. It means a shorter work week. It means that you're not going home on the off. It means that you will have more service charge and your money to spend on your families. It means to the communities around here that you sell more fish right here from the fish market, that you sell more fish not only to locals, but you sell more fish to the restaurants.
Doom and gloom has taken over Barbados, and social services are in shambles, especially medical care. That's according to President of the Democratic Labour Party, Senator Andre Worrell, as he addressed a meeting at Sion Hill last evening in support of his party's candidate in the St. James North by-election on Wednesday. He asked the gathering to vote for change and to remove the Barbados Labour Party from office one constituency at a time.
Some of you may traditionally vote with your family and vote another way, but tonight we are asking you to change that, to consider what is happening in this country and consider that you have an opportunity with your ex on the 21st of May to make a difference and to say to the Barbados Labour Party that you are not happy with the way in which they are running this country.
Barbados is a no-man's land. The assessment has come from opposition leader Ralph Thorne during a marathon speech to a gathering at Sion Hill, St. James last evening in support of the party's candidate in the St. James North by-election, Felicia Dujon. He says after 4 years of Barbados becoming a republic, it was still without a constitution.
We have asked this government to bring a new Republican constitution 4 years later, and this is serious. This is a demonstration of what it means to have a constitution, an old Westminster constitution that is irrelevant, and to delay a Republican constitution that would control the powers of government, so that we are midway between Westminster and republicanism. We're constitutionally in no man's land. And while this government, while the people in this country remain constitutionally in no man's land, while we seem not to have our rights and fundamental freedoms.
The leader of one of the island's largest trade unions, Tony Moore, is defending government's decision to increase the minimum wage by $2 per hour. The Member of Parliament for St. George North says the Democratic Labour Party is critical about government's decision to move the minimum wage from $8.50 to $10.50. It is in the best interest of workers.
I don't know for the life of me how a trade union could be uttering what I've been hearing from some that aligns to what we got coming off of the DLP platform. One of the things they said, and they have rejected point blank, is the fact that $2 will be added to the minimum wage effective June 1st. Can you believe that? $2 an hour being added to the minimum wage, and trade unionists or the party of Errol Barra saying that it can't work. Now is not the time to institute it. Can you imagine that they are arguing that you have to be able to balance prices with incomes? Where were they when prices were being brought into balance?
Felicia Dujon, the Democratic Labour Party candidate for St. James North in the upcoming by-election, says government is wasting taxpayers' money. Last night at Sion Hill, St. James, Ms. Dujon and several Barbadians Barbadians are currently struggling with the cost of living, and are finding it hard to feed their families.
They're using the money, wasting the money, and not providing the money where we're supposed to get the help and intervention on. We need our allowance. Families in this constituency need the child allowance. You need to bring it back, government. You need to bring it back so that we can help our children and sustain our children in this constituency and Barbados by extension. So constituents, when we speak for your rights, we are speaking for the rights of all Barbadians in this country. We stand up for their behalf. For the farmers and fisher folks, we are continuing to fight on your behalf.
The Barbados Labour Party candidate running for the St. James North constituency seat, Chad Blackman, says like newly appointed West Indies cricket captain Roston Chase, he is ready to lead the St. James North constituency. Touted as the big man with the big vision, Blackman says he is committing his skills, intellect, time and family to the constituency. And last night he repeated his appeal to constituents to give him a chance to captain their team by voting for him on Wednesday.
Equally, just like Roston, who when he puts his mind to a task, he digs in. I too will dig in once you give me the chance. Just like Roston, when he sets his mind, he looks around the field before he plays the ball. I will scan the landscape before any shot is played. Just like Roston, who is committed to the long haul and will play every single ball on merit. I too will do every ball on merit, because you, the people of St. James North, deserve someone who has steady hands of leadership. Your lives demand someone who can handle pressure, who is focused even when there are adverse circumstances around you. You cannot flinch when you're dealing with the lives of thousands of people.
Into the stations of the CBC for more on Election Watch. Fisher folk are reporting a pickup in the volume of fish being caught. And in fact, amber fish and tuna are plentiful again. But boat captains say it's not a glut, but the abundance of fish is a result of the moon and sea conditions. Our Trevor Thorpe spoke with some of the captains and shared this report.
It was fish aplenty at the fisheries complex today. Boat captain Joseph Greenwich says the amber fish have returned and the long-line boats caught a number of tuna. While acknowledging the ups and downs of the industry, the skipper says they are still trying to supply the island's fish needs.
I would say it's a glut. I say that, this moon we see a better return of the fish on the ground. Yeah, but I just went after the moon phase out, then it will go back to, things being slow. But from what you've been seeing for the season, only on the certain moons you are getting a catch that you would see, you can sustain yourself.
Second mate on the boat, Lucky Mouse, Ian Osborne, says the catches were very good.
We caught about 3,000, close to 4,000 pounds of fish in about 4 days, catching about 4 days time.
Mr. Osborne is hoping for good sea conditions for the rest of the season.
1 day, 2 days was pretty good. The other 2 days were a little rough. We had some weather out there. The same weather y'all had on the land, we had over there as well. Rainy, sunny days. So a little bumpy at days, some days, but it wasn't too bad.
But Captain Greenwich says the industry has not fully recovered since the passage of Hurricane Beryl last year.
The industry has been going through a really tough time since after Beryl. The boats, we having a lot of ups and downs with them and that stuff. But we try our best to put food on the table for the Bajan public. We try our best in bringing home fish. Yeah, it's not been a laid out season as before, and you're having a bountiful catch trip after trip. It was a lot of lower trips, but we did our best.
The fishermen say with the 2025 hurricane season approaching, most boat owners and their connections will put their boats on dry dock and carry out repairs and await the new fish season. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Contract workers here at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation are Barbados' newest business owners. This was made possible as representatives from Business Barbados visited the corporation to assist the registration of business names. Legal consultant at Business Barbados, Michelle Hines, says today's proceedings was successful as more than 20 people registered.
We are more customer focused, more customer centric at this time, and we're ensuring that we are out there in the public, making sure persons have the access to us and ensuring that they can register their business names as they would so choose to. That way, they can actually start to implement that phase of their life, that successful phase of their life, and we are always willing to assist them in that respect and in that regard.
Well, the new business owners also benefited from financial planning advice from experts in the area. Home financial specialist at the Scotiabank Broad Street branch, Keisha Payne, says financial planning starts with creating a budget.
So with financial planning, this is the process of creating a roadmap to achieve your financial goals. and improve your overall financial health. It involves assessing your current financial situation, setting short and long-term goals, and developing strategies for reaching these goals. So how does it help? By setting a financial plan, you're able to, as I said before, meet your goals, manage your debt. You make informed decisions on a month-to-month basis, improve your savings, but you're able to identify where you can cut back or save.
Director of the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Alessandra Cummins, wants the country to ensure its national artificial intelligence or AI strategy is guided by ethical principles. She says AI presents opportunities as well as challenges for the arts and cultural sectors. Her remarks came at an AI symposium on Caribbean arts and heritage over at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society.
AI technologies can deepen existing divides and inequalities in the world within which and between countries, that justice, trust and fairness must be upheld so that no country and no one should be left behind, either by having fair access to AI technologies and enjoying their benefits, or in the protection against their negative implications. And also noting that addressing risks and ethical concerns should not hamper innovation and development, but rather provide new opportunities and stimulate ethically conducted research and innovation that anchor AI technologies in human rights and fundamental freedoms, values and principles.
The Leo Club of Barbados is looking for new members to join the organization. The club, which is celebrating 30 years of existence this month, had a paint and sip with their East District at the St. Patrick's Anglican Church. At the event, President of the Leo Club East, Raquel Gibson, says the club has done a lot for young people over the years, and she hopes to attract even more.
We would like to encourage some more members. Right now we are small in numbers, and we're encouraging young people to come out and give back to the community. There are a lot of persons we don't see that might just be walking around, and it's really a good feeling when we can see the impact that it has on other persons' lives. So I just encourage persons just to join the club, find some way to give back. Even if not as a member, you could always partner with us and give back to the community.
Meanwhile, a member from another club is encouraging the current Leo members to keep striving for greatness and to absorb as much information as they can during the process.
So I inspire each one of you Leos here that where you are at is just the beginning. If you're dedicated to service and you have the service mind at heart, or as we call it, the spirit of being a lion and being a Leo, then you can really move mountains. The purpose of the call to be a Leo means that you're a person who's seeking experience, you want opportunities to lead, and you will push the envelope every time as a chance to express yourself and to serve the community. That is what being a Leo embodies.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In, Pause is Power, and by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Time now for some sports with Damien Best. Good night to you, Damien.
Yeah, good night to you, Tisha. Good night to all viewers and listeners. We're going to start with some cricket news, and CWI has put some context to the selection process used to pick the Test captain. It was revealed last week that Barbadian Roston Chase would be appointed to the position after being the frontrunner among a selection of 6. The 33-year-old Chase edged out John Campbell, Tevin Imlach, Joshua Da Silva, Justin Graves and Jamal Warrican, who was eventually named as vice-captain. Well, speaking at a virtual media conference today, Director of Cricket at CWI, Miles Bascom, talked about the integrity of the process and said Chase and Warrican were the 2 strongest candidates, emerging as number 1 and number 2 for both roles.
It was about starting with the person who is in the strongest position at this point and helping them to grow in the role going forward. And similarly, we wanted to start with the strongest possible next person as their support, right, to ensure that, you know, we have a quality think tank working along with the head coach and his team management staff. Now, that is not to say that we have not we are not thinking about succession. A couple of the younger players that were in our shortlist and went through the process, we have identified to continue working with them in terms of their development as leaders. So through A teams, opportunities for captaincy will be, they will get those as part of their leadership development.
Head coach Darren Sammy endorsed Chase, but admitted the appointment of a test captain wasn't clear-cut.
Just hearing how things been done, I think this would probably be the first time we undergo something like that, and it is also a learning process for us, just in creating and building and developing leaders. Some of the things that we'll have to put in place for a smooth succession when one of our leaders either move on or we try to move on from someone. For us in the test arena, it was not a clear-cut, appointment, and hence it brought us to that stage. So with that said, I think we've started something that in the future and the things that we'll put in place would be allow for a smoother transition in West Indies leadership.
Well, the new test skipper, Chase, says despite being absent from the test arena for a couple of years, he's ready to lead.
It was, after being dropped, obviously, it was then a personal choice of mine to then really focus on my white ball career. So I was mainly in the T20 and the 50 over, so I was really concentrating on that. And before Sammy was appointed the coach, the then coach, Andre Coley, had spoken to me about coming back, but I told him that I wasn't ready as yet because, as I said, I was focusing on getting myself out there in the white ball arena in terms of playing some franchise cricket and stuff, and I had a shot at it last year and this year. But I don't think it's a problem for me joining back the team because I've been playing cricket for probably 15 years in the first class arena, so a lot of these guys know me.
Former West Indies pacer and now newly promoted bowling coach Ravi Rampal is ready for the task at hand as the regional side prepares to face Ireland and England in upcoming limited overs series. The Windies men will first take on the Irish in 3 one-day internationals on May 21st, 23rd and 25th in Dublin. The Caribbean side was in full training mode yesterday.
The West Indies bowlers have a lot of skills. All of them have different skill set. Some swing the ball, some have pace. It's about just getting them to understand that, this is your strength and this is what's going to get you most of your wickets and carry you through your career. Initially at the start when I retired, it was a bit tough, but I know I wanted to get back into cricket and use all the experience that I gathered over the years playing and give it back to the younger generations of West Indian cricketers that are coming. I'm very excited that I was able to get this role, and with all the experience that I gather, hopefully I could share it to the younger guys that are in the team and, moving forward to help them fulfill their full potential.
Well, following the Ireland ODI series, the Windies men will play England in 3 ODIs and 3 T20s from May 29th to June 10th before heading back to Ireland for 3 T20s from June 12th to 15th.
A new beauty business is being developed in Barbados. It's called The Loft Artistry, and it's the brainchild of creator Aaliyah Williams. Trevor Thorpe sat down with the artist for the business report.
The new business will cater to the needs of budding creatives in the beauty industry. Aaliyah Williams tells the business report the initiative is still in the developmental stage, but she has been answering calls and ticking off elements on her bucket list.
Currently, it's makeup, it's photo shoots, it's events, stuff like that. But I am open to incorporating all aspects of beauty because I would love to be well-rounded. The Loft Artistry only came into being last year when I started getting too much work for just me to do. And I was like, it might be time to actually start doing the things that I want to do, because sometimes you get stuck doing what is working for you then, so you don't really step out into something new. And so I said, okay, time to start incorporating more faces so that we can do a lot more. And so this year, we've been doing more band launches, we've been working with other artists and stuff like that.
Education is a major aspect of the Loft artistry, and Ms. Williams says she has aligned the company with a major international brand.
Currently, I'm associated with L'Oreal, which is one of the biggest makeup houses that you could be around. So I am trying to keep that going and take it in more of an educational direction, because they used to do it before COVID, and now I'm trying to get them to reintroduce it here.
The creative artist says making clients comfortable is among the hallmarks of her development plans.
Being more personable and approachable. I branded myself last year as the approachable makeup artist. A lot of other artists reach out to me to ask me questions because they don't feel like I'm going to be snappy with them, and that's a big thing in the beauty industry, not just here, like the cattiness between women, between men. And so I'm trying to get rid of that in this community so that people feel safe to ask whatever type of questions they want to ask so that it can benefit them.
The export market is among her future plans, along with carnivals, crop over and other festivals.
Especially during this time of the year where it's like carnival after carnival and then into Kadooment, we would love to be able to travel and do makeup, because that is a very big part of the carnival season, makeup. That's been brought in for the last 3 years. People really seek out makeup artists, so we would love to do that. And as it relates to pop-ups, we do touch-up events, we do nudes. Last year we did rum punch, we did a couple others. So we set up a booth and the ladies, they're partying. Okay, my face gets sweaty, we could go over to the Loft Artistry booth and get a touch-up, or we could go over to the Maybelline booth and get a touch-up.
Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Government has ensured there's a framework that addresses new intellectual property with the development of a new cultural policy for Barbados. Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for culture, Senator Dr. Chantel Monroe-Knight, provided some insight.
You would see a better and more coherent policy framework, Senator King, for how we kind of advance this. But also as well, I think it is, and I go back again to that word of how we empower the actors and how we kind of make space. One of the challenges, I think, when we look at AI and orange economy, we talk about policy and creating adaptive policy and regulation, is the recognition that, again, that we need to continue to build capacity on this hand, build capacity for those within the cultural sector to create, as you said, to bring the images, to continue to rate, so that the algorithms will automatically then begin to pick up those images, pick up those voices that belong to us, and that is important.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In, Pause is Power, and by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Well, Damien is back for the second half of sports.
Thanks so much, Tisha. We continue on with some football news. Already crowned 2025 BFA Premier League champions, Weymouth Wales continued on their winning streak last night by defeating Paradise at the Wildy Turf. Meanwhile, Ellerton beat Kickstart 3-1. CBC's Anne-Margaret Boyce reports.
Ellerton in red versus Kickstart Rush. 11 minutes on the clock. This tackle from Rashawn Gittins on Nathan Skeet paved the way for this. Rashad Jules from close range, and you can bet that's 1-0. Just a couple minutes later, Ellerton were knocking on the door again. Romario Drakes goes direct to the goal and is brought down in the box. Referee Jermaine Newson had a look, set it up, penalty. Jules was the man tasked with doubling the lead for Ellerton and did just that. Roof of the net, Ellerton up 2-0. And just before the break, Ellerton added a third. Shea Lloyd escaped his marker, and that's right. Tell a friend the score is 3-0. Kickstart Rush got a late consolation. Azarel Crony miscued this shot, and it ends up in the back of the net. Final score, Ellerton 3, Rush 1. On to the main event. Weymouth Wales already the 2025 BFA Premier League champions in the white. with a free kick. Armando Sugar Lashley. Oh my, it's a strike worth silver and gold. It just had to be him against his old club, Paradise Trail. 1-0. On the verge of half-time, Paradise broke clear on the counter. Roger Collins was there in the beginning and also in the end. Locked and loaded, slotted it home. 1 each at the interval. Second half action. Wales looking for the go-ahead goal, and they got it again. Lashley is involved. This time, it's a marvellous pass to Jante James, who puts it home. Wales take the win over Paradise, 2-1. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
Yeah, thanks, Anmar. Well, popular drink brand Rude Boy has come on board as a sponsor for this year's BCIC Rally Barbados. Through financial and product sponsorship, they have joined a growing list of partners of local motorsports marquee event. Band manager for Rude Boy, Stephen Bennett, who made the presentation to event director Neil Barnard, says by being involved with the sponsorship, one of the island's top drivers just sparked their interest in getting involved in the event.
Essentially, it started with us being involved with what's going on with Tremaine. And you can't get involved with the drivers without really understanding that they don't have a place to drive without rally and these different things going on. So it was great for us to get the opportunity to come and finally put a financial bit of sponsorship in there, as well as some Rude Boy. And what we'll be doing is that we will have a couple corners. We're going to have Malvern. Also, we look forward to seeing everybody come out to Pickering in St. Lucie, because we're going to have something very, very special in store for you on June 1st.
Well, speaking to their sponsorship of driver Tremaine Ford Catwell, who has been a consistent class winner and club champion driver, Bennett said it is his family-based team operation that made them want to jump on board and assist.
Our investment with Tremaine has been something that has been going on from the first time we would have met last year, and so that has been ongoing. And so the investment in the car, again, we would love it to be a lot more, so that's why we ask other sponsors to come and get involved with what's going on with the talent in Barbados. But what you see here, this Rude Boy here, this is for the rally team, this is for the rally club, this is for the volunteers that come on out to do so much work at rally every single year, and we forget the names, but we ain't gonna forget them this year, because we're getting Rude this year for rally. So we're encouraging everybody else to come on out, support the rally, support the youngsters. We ain't get Rude when we drinking, but we can be safe when we out there driving.
Rally Barbados is set for the weekend of May 30th to June 1st. And that's it for sports for tonight. Tisha, it's over to you.
Hey, thank you so much, Damien. And that's Newsnight. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. On behalf of the entire crew, do enjoy the rest of your evening.